The first park of today is Animal Kingdom. Yay! We come up on where people are, but it looks like they're actually letting them in. That's good, yeah. Once the crowds start getting too large, they let people into the park. And that's where we are now. We got here just in time to start coming through. Looks pretty orderly. It's the icon of Animal Kingdom, the Tree of Life, where if you get close to it, there's actually animals carved into the trunk. It is not a real tree. It was built around an oil derrick. And there's some videos of that if you want to look it up. It's a pretty interesting story. And then having to hand paint all of those leaves, which of course they still do have to do on occasion because, you know, the Florida sun will bleach them out pretty quickly. We'll come back and get some pictures in front of that later. But this is like right when you come into the park. Well, you have to go up a little bit and then you come to this. And then you go left to head to Pandora so we can get to the Flight of Passage, which is the one ride that everyone will be running to. So it's worth doing it first thing in the morning. It's hard to tell all the time what the crowds are gonna be like, but there are crowd calendars out there, and for the most part they're right. I think the pandemic has sort of made it harder to read, but kids are back in school, so they're not coming to Disney every single day. And so the park crowds have been fairly low in videos I've seen online recently. We're hoping that stays true to today. When I looked at our crowd calendars, I found out that the busiest day we're gonna have is Magic Kingdom on Sunday, and it's gonna have a 2 out of 10. Otherwise it's 1 out of 10 for every park that we're doing on this trip. Just means it's not gonna be super full. And I'm okay with that because you can get a lot more done that way. We got into the Avatar Flight of Passage line. I'm not sure how far back we are. I mean, I know as far as physical distance, but I'm not sure if the number of people are behind us. Love the alien artwork. I'm sorry, not artwork. The alien, well, architecture is one thing, but the alien plant life and the floating islands. There's also videos on YouTube of how they did that. Just the rock work is so amazing here. You would not know that most of this isn't real. We came from over there, so we're doing better than those people.
25 minutes.
And, oh, standby time says 25 minutes. That's not too much. One thing about these more modern rides is they have amazing queues to walk through.
Can everyone see me? Great. Welcome to the Avatar program. Soon, you're going to have a chance to undertake an amazing Navi rite of passage, flying on the back of this powerful animal called an ikran, or as we call it, a banshee. The way you're going to do this is by being matched to something called an avatar. And I'm here to help you guys get ready. Help us out and move around a bit. Almost. Yes, got him. Now, let's find you your avatar matches.
I'm in number one. I'm number one.
All right, you've all been matched with avatars.
Welcome, everyone. I'm Dr. Jackie Ogden from the Pandora Conservation Initiative. You're about to experience a ceremony that's very special to the Navi, flying on the back of an ikran, or as we call it, a banshee. To the Navi, connecting to an ikran and flying on its back is an incredibly important rite of passage they call Ikni Maya.
As always, that ride is spectacular. So much fun. It's just a motion simulator, but it does everything right. And for the longest time, well, for a few years, it was the best ride I think in Florida. But now that Rise of the Resistance is open, that is definitely the best ride in all of Florida. So it had a distinction for a while. A little ibis bird running away from me. Won't hurt you. But yeah, not to diminish what an amazing ride it is, because it is. You should definitely ride it when you come here. But it no longer holds the distinction of the best. But I think second best still is a pretty good runner-up. Hopefully the day goes the same way as all this. The Avatar line, we could go back and do it 25 minutes from now, not the 3 hours that it often is. Love this waterfall. They have another ride called the Navi River Journey, which only has a 5-minute wait right now. We haven't done this in a while because we don't usually want to wait for it, but 5 minutes is totally worth it. Some Navi art. Remember this because you just might see it in the ride. Navi River Journey is a lot like Pirates, except you're on an alien planet, but it's the same kind of deal where you get in a boat and you go through some scenes of the planet. It's a lot more natural though, as opposed to a town in the Caribbean, of course.
Day long now. Salim Nizam.
Coming up, and I would get stuck in my head after this ride. One of the best animatronics. Movement on that is so lifelike and incredible. Josh and I like to do what is called rope dropping, even though there aren't any ropes anymore. Essentially, you want to be at the entrance to the park when it opens. Nowadays, they're usually letting you in before the park officially opens, so it's worth it to get there even earlier. But the reason why is because you can get a lot done in the first couple of hours, while all those families who didn't want to get up as early don't come to the park. So like Magic Kingdom, for example, there was one time where in the first 2 hours we rode 7 rides. We decided to drop into the Starbucks, even though we're on vacation. I mean, I like Starbucks, don't get me wrong, and all I really want is an iced tea, and they have a really good iced tea here. So I'm gonna get some. What you looking
metal.
at? It's metal?
It's metal. Wow. I know, for me, that's perfect. We know the klutz I am.
Yeah.
I admit
Josh
it.
has a tendency to break these things. That's really cool, though. Kilimanjaro Safaris is our next ride. We've ridden this a number of times, and every time it's different because there are, different animals you can see. And it's best to do it earlier in the morning because the animals are more active. If it gets warmer throughout the day, the animals are less active. So we always try to do it like second or third thing after we run to the Flight of Passage ride. And there's a long queue, but we're not gonna stand in it. We're just gonna walk all the way through it to get there, because 5 minutes means it's a walk-on ride.
Now with that stork, it is one of the larger
Saddleville
birds, standing
stork.
about 5 feet tall with the wingspan stretching 9 feet wide. But then over to the right-hand side here, we're also going to see the okapi. Now with the okapi, they're going to have the striped legs that resemble the zebra. However, they're the only living relative of the giraffe. Get their H2O as well as socialize. And it looks like we are going to get a pretty good look at the largest socializer of the forest right around the corner here. So it looks like wrapping up some breakfast here. This is going to be the black rhino. Now, as you can see, pretty large fellow there, weighing about 3,000 pounds fully grown, but never judge them by their size, as it can also pick up speeds of 35 miles per hour. So it's kind of like a little semi-truck horse. Now, unlike most antelopes, both male and female can grow horns, but we know this is the male here with that darker neck, whereas the females have the lighter colored necks. So, again, just by looking at that coat color is the best way to tell them apart. Stay under the water for most of the day just to regulate that body temperature. Then they'll come up about every 8 minutes or so, grab some air, and then go right back down underneath. But keeping a close eye on the hippos will also be the pink-backed pelicans on the island. They're going to get a pink color on the skin and feathers to signify mating season, which actually starts in October, so about a month away from now. Now with the Nile crocodile, they're going to be the largest of the species, weighing about 500 pounds as they grow between 16 and 20 feet. But oftentimes crocodiles and alligators are confused with each other, and they're very similar on their roots. So again, best way to tell them apart. Now we are going to go from some giraffes though over to our left-hand side as we come right around this little rock formation. Take a look inside the den as they're going to get some rest. And we're going to pull up just a little more here to give you guys a better view. Now even though they are technically part of the canine species, they're not related to our pets back home, as these guys here only have 4 toes, and the domesticated dogs have 5 toes. So
Giraffe.
So it looks like right now one of the older siblings is going to be watching over the little one while mom and dad might be out about getting us some more of the food. In fact, we're going to be very careful here. It looks like we might get caught up in a literal giraffe jam. Got one getting pretty close to the road, and yeah, we're going to hang out here just for a moment, let it safely cross on by.
Crossing the road. Baby is
There he goes. In front of the car. That's awesome.
Now it looks like with the giraffe may have caught eyes with the warden over here, so that's why he's going to come by and get some snacks. But if you ever see a giraffe eating, don't be too surprised. On average, they will spend 20 hours out of the day eating, and only the largest of their species, weighing about 100 pounds fully grown. And they were also used as the model for Rafiki in the live-action Lion King. Whereas Rafiki in the animated Lion King is that you have one of 2 options. They can go learn to live by themselves, becoming solitary, or if they want to, they can go out and try to form a small bachelor group. Now they will get their name greater because they are the largest of their species. However, they are also the lightest shade pink, whereas the lesser flamingo that are going to be near the center of the park will be the brightest shade pink. But for the first couple of years of the flamingo's life, they are going to be a shade of gray, black, and white. And they will get a pink color by eating beta-carotene shrimp out of the shallow water, just like a couple of the adults are doing over there for right now.
Oh my god, it's eating.
So with that little white rhino, you can see, I believe it's about 10 months old, already weighing about 2,000 pounds. So another pretty big baby there. But also hats off to mom because she had to carry him for 8 months. That is the normal gestation period for a female rhino. Now we're to the left-hand side. Take a look on top of the rock there. Kind of blends on in, but that is the male lion. With the lion there, they will spend about 20 hours out of the day resting. And that's because they're rewarded, but also for the villagers that live nearby. And then along with the dairy services, they're also going to be used for their logging skills, as they're able to dig up a lot of the deeply rooted vegetation that most wildlife could not reach.
Yay, goats.
But it looks like while they're serving the out and about eating.
All right, this is pretty amazing. The wait times right now. So we've got the stuff in Pandora, World of Avatar. If I zoom in, 30 minutes for Flight of Passage. That's unheard of. 15 minutes for Navi River Journey. Yeah, especially this far in. It should be 3 hours now.
Yeah.
And then if we scoot around, there's where we are. right next to the safaris, which are still only 5 minutes. And we are heading over to Expedition Everest, which is a 10-minute wait, which is nothing. We'll ride that a couple of times. They also have Kali River Rapids over here, which is a boat ride. Well, it's one that you might get wet in. It's like an inner tube ride. We're not going to do that because we don't want to be wet the rest of the day. If we were here at night and we were about to head back, then maybe, but I don't want to be wet all day. And then there's the dinosaur area down here. Triceratops spin, which is just a spinner ride, is only 5 minutes. And Dinosaur, which at one time was a really, popular thrill ride. It's very dated now. It's only 5 minutes. I think that's Dinosaur. Yep, 5 minutes. So you can see that the parks are not that busy, and you can tell just by walking through because there's not tons and tons of people. That's wonderful. Something that's awesome is there's this sort of shrine here, and you can line it up where essentially it looks just like the peaks. See? Pretty neat, huh? I saw that somebody demonstrated that one time, and I just thought it was the coolest thing. And then you step out and there's the peaks. It's cool to see these monkeys frolicking. Often we're here and they are just screaming their heads off and frolicking. But that's actually pretty cool. It's Monkey Olympics up there, everyone. They're just hanging. I love it. Going through the Expedition Everest queue. It says 10 minutes, which means there might be a minor wait, but for the most part, it's going to be a walk-on. This ride has a single rider line option. I don't think we're going to have to use it today, but during times when it's really busy, if you don't mind being split up from your party, you can do single rider, and then they use it to fill in when there's, there's parties of 3 or 5 or something. And so Josh and I will usually, hello, welcome. Thank you. Josh and I will usually ride it like once through the standby line. So we can ride it together. And then if we ride it again, we'll ride it through the single rider line because it's fine. I mean, honestly, riding this next to somebody doesn't really make a difference if you know them or not. It's not like you're having deep, in-depth conversations while you're riding a roller coaster. That is not the time to spring the news on somebody. But I love this, it's like a museum talking about the Yeti, because there's a Yeti in the ride. Look, Bigfoot. And oh wow, it is a walk-on. Look at this. Wow, that's amazing. These posters up here are cool because if you have your magic band on, they might know your name, or they'll know your name, and sometimes your name will show up here. Like Lisbeth is probably somebody who went through. Tammy is over there. That's probably somebody who walked through here. Patrick. But nope, our names are not up here. They have been in the past. Yeah, we pretty much just walked on.
Attention, expedition.
Yay, we rode, oh, I'm outside, I can take my mask off. You have to wear your masks inside, any inside, whether you're like an inside ride queue or inside for a show, any inside. But you don't have to wear it on outside queues, and you don't have to wear it if you're just walking around, but you're still expected to maintain safe distance, which outdoors I see people doing fairly often, but in the ride queues I don't see it very often. We rode that twice. After about 2, it'll start affecting your stomach, so you have to limit how many you do in a row. And now we're working our way generally clockwise through the park.
Pretty good.
We started at Pandora, and then we went to the Safaris in Africa, which is like clockwise to that. And then we came over here to Expedition Everest. Now we're coming around the clock and heading towards the dinosaur area to ride the ride called Dinosaur. It's called Dinoland USA.
Yep.
There's been talk for years about changing it to be an Indiana Jones theme, archaeology,
Movie.
but we'll see if that happens. It's Halloween time here in Disney, even though it's only the end of August, it's Halloween. And so Chip and Dale are in their dinosaur outfits here. And Goofy is, I'm not sure what Goofy is dressed as, but they're waving at us because there's only like a few of us up here. I love Chip and Dale so much. Yay. They used to do meet and greets, but of course during the pandemic they don't want people pawing on their characters, so they have them come out like this. And they're on their way out. Yay. Dinoland is meant to be like one of those tourist trap attractions along Route 66. So everything, they found dinosaur bones, and so they, yeah, just like Josh said, they built it all around that. So everything here is meant to look a little cheesy, but boy, does it really look cheesy in a park that otherwise looks amazing. We're gonna see if that photo booth is, nope, it says out of order. Darn. If you have Magic Bands and you have the photo pass, which you do because we're annual pass holders, then usually you can go into the photo booths and take pictures, and then you get digital versions of them for free. There's the Triceratops spin. It's just a spinner ride like Dumbo. They used to have a Primeval Whirl over here, but I hear that's being taken out. I don't know what it's being replaced with. And then there's a shop here. Chester and Hester's. They're the people who supposedly founded this place. But we're gonna walk this way towards Dinosaur, the actual ride. We've entered the Dinosaur Ride, which also means we've entered air conditioning and it feels wonderful. It's actually not that hot out and the sun has been behind clouds. And it's supposed to rain later. In fact, it's supposed to rain this entire trip.
We'll see.
Usually in the afternoons. But we've been here before when it's supposed to rain every day and it never did. So we'll see how it goes.
There it is.
So this is supposed to be like a Dinosaur Institute. And you go through and there's all these like exhibits. You can't see my air quotes, but exhibits and stuff. And that leads to the ride. Because somebody, a nefarious scientist, sends you back in time to get a specific dinosaur.
Several hundred types of these magnificent creatures are thriving.
Or at the Dino Institute.
It's impossibly close to the giant asteroid impact that destroyed most life forms on Earth. Our tools are designed to take you to the early Cretaceous period, and I can assure you that all time rovers have been securely locked on those coordinates.
That's right. See? Securely locked. Access denied.
See what I mean about this being dated? You've got Felicia Rashad, who I love. I mean, she's awesome no matter what. But she's sort of like end of Cosby Show Felicia Rashad, which would have been way back in the 90s when this ride was created. So it's never really been updated since then. Here, at least, in Disneyland, there is a ride that is the exact same ride vehicle, and it's called the Indiana Jones ride and the Temple of the Forbidden Eye, because the Temple of the Forbidden Me would be bad grammar. And that's a joke they say there on the Jungle Cruise. Anyway, if they turn this into an Indiana land, then this would be converted into the Indiana Jones ride, since the track is exactly the same. If they just have different background, for example, different scenes, but the actual ride itself is the same. So it would be, I mean, it's still an undertaking to change that, but they're not building it from the ground up.
Okay, now.
Styracosaurus.
Not our dino. Computer, full stop. Identify.
Carnotaurus.
Definitely not our dino. And identify.
Sauropod.
Still not our dino, but at least this one's a vegetarian. Four-wheel drive, move it!
Iguanodon.
Forget it! Get them out now! They're not gonna make it! They're not gonna make it!
Mission accomplished.
If you like 90s theming and herky-jerkiness, then that ride is for you. It's fun. I mean, it's not amazing. It probably was in its time, but by today's standards, it's not. But I'm not going to discourage you from riding it. It's still fun, so you should do it if you come here. Besides, there's not that many rides in Animal Kingdom, so take advantage of the ones you can get. We decided, since the line is so short, we are going to ride a ride that we've never ridden before. I mean, it's just a spinner, but we've never done it, and we're just gonna hop right on, so that is super worth it. Yay! Woo, go up and down. They stopped ahead of us. They do play a lot of like songs with dinosaurs in them, in their lyrics, like boom, boom, aka laka laka boom. They were doing that earlier, and I love that song, Walk the Dinosaur.
When indoors, wash your hands often.
I think that was not was. Don't quote me on that, but I think it was them. And I loved that song in the 80s. Boom, boom, aka laka laka boom. See how far down we can go. Woo, not very far. Let's see how high up we can go. I think we're all going up for the ending. But he's pretty much saying almost all of Dinoland from this.
Dinosaurs are landing, so please stay seated. When they come to a complete stop, make sure you have all your belongings and then walk to the exit.
Now that I have ridden every one of the spinner rides in Walt Disney World, I feel like I'm an expert and qualified to rank them. Number one is the Astro Orbiter, at least to me, because the view is amazing. It's up, it's like higher up than all of the others, so you get incredible views of Tomorrowland, as well as like the Contemporary Resort, and you can see the castle. There's just a lot more to see when you're on that one. And the second would be Dumbo, because Dumbo is very iconic. It is the spinner ride that everyone compares all other spinner rides to, but there's nothing that special about it other than being the classic. And then the last two are the Dino and Aladdin's magic carpets, flying carpets of Aladdin. I think Dino wins over that because in Aladdin there's the potential for you to get wet because there are some sprayers going. You're not gonna get soaked or anything, but I think this comes in third. And then finally there's the Aladdin one. I don't know, it's hard to rank those last two because Aladdin, at least you can see views of Adventureland, and that's a lot more exciting than seeing views of Dinoland. So it's hard for those two, but I think the lack of wetness on the Triceratops spin is gonna win out for me. The Tree of Life actually has an attraction in it, more like underneath it. It's called It's Tough to Be a Bug. It's a 3D show with some 4D elements that happen in the theater itself. We've seen it a number of times when we used to go to Disneyland, and we've seen it a couple of times here. It's the same show. But, well, we may or may not do that later. We'll see. We got plenty of time to do things, and it's not even 11 o'clock. It's 10:30 right now, and we've pretty much done all the rides we wanted to ride, so now we can just do whatever we want. And there's the tree again. Let's get a picture. That's what we need to do, is get a picture. We are planning to have lunch at the Nomad Lounge, and they don't take reservations, so you just have to come and wait. The park is not that busy, so even if we didn't come here and wait, then we'd probably still be able to get a table. It's connected to a restaurant called Tiffin's, which is right over here, and that's more of a higher end restaurant, and it's all you can eat, which we don't usually do, but they do have the Nomad Lounge over here. We've come here once before, enjoyed what we had, so we thought we would duplicate that. And then you can see the seating over there is kind of all outdoors on this terrace. There's like some couch areas. There's also like 2-person seats. So it's just a nice outdoors al fresco lunch. Josh, first of all, check out Josh's awesome shirt. Since it's Halloween time here, he decided to wear his Halloween shirt, which is the Hocus Pocus. Anyway, so Josh ordered the press pot coffee, as you can see here. And it needs to steep for another couple minutes,
I think it's been about 3 minutes now, so it should be just about done.
And then we were looking at their specialty menu, and we decided to get the beef sliders with the yuca fries. And we had that last time, and they were pretty good, so we kind of wanted to come back.
They introduced us to yuca fries.
I mean, the other things sound good too. I'm not really a lobster person, so I wouldn't get the lobster mac and cheese, but if you are a lobster person, I think it's delicious. Here are the sliders with the yuca fries. Man, I love yuca fries. We can get them in Denver at a particular food truck, and I love when that food truck is there. Anyway, they're just a couple of small sliders. $16 for this here, which, you know, it's kind of a lot, but it's bar food and
But
it's
it's
Disney.
very good
But it's also
burgers.
really good. While we've been sitting here, 5 boats with characters have gone by. So we've seen quite a number of them. That might be all of them, but they must start over here because they all seem to come out right near the Nomad Lounge. Coming under the bridge there. Nico and Pocahontas. It's not true for everybody, but for Josh and I, Animal Kingdom is only a half-day park. It's not even noon yet. We've pretty much done everything we wanted to do and had some lunch here. Now we're gonna head back to the hotel. We can't go to the next park we plan to go to, which is Magic Kingdom, because the way park hopping works right now, if you have a park hopper pass, is you can't go into the other park until 2, and it's not even noon yet, so they wouldn't let us in. But maybe this is a good opportunity to go back, enjoy some of the swimming pool, and then head to Magic Kingdom later tonight. Thank you for joining us on our journey through Animal Kingdom today.